Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of Med in Practice with yours truly, Dr. Pendo Saru TV. And on today's video, this is very personal to me as well. For those who follow me well, or rather maybe in Facebook or Instagram, would be aware of this by now that I just had a baby recently. And I thought now that I am doing pediatrics masters, it would be easier having kids because I understand the whole process of things happening with kids. But alas, it's a lie, because whenever I'm home, I'm purely just mom. I'm not Dr. Saru, I'm not Dr. Pendo, I'm not Dr. Cynthia, I'm none of that. I'm just mom. And the fact that I get into that mom mode, it gets really hard sometimes having to make decisions on my own, even on what to do after something has happened. For example, if your child falls and hits their head on the floor. I know. It happened to us like 2 weeks ago. And I can just imagine, I just remember feeling like a pit. At the pit of my stomach, I felt like something very gnarly was just tightening up. And to be honest, it was one of those scary moments for me as a mom, because we're now learning how to do things, standing up with stuff and crawling here and there, and it's becoming really dangerous. It's that point where you're thinking, okay, I need to slow down. I kind of miss the colic days now. Please bring the colic days back and let us not have this running around the house, because the colic, you could just wait on it, after some few minutes or hours it's gonna stop. But this doesn't stop. You're scared when you're sleeping, you're scared when they're awake, when they're asleep, they're rolling all over the place. So I figured, if I had that much anxiety over my child falling and hitting their head, how about other new moms? Or even if you're a second-time mom, even an nth-time mom around, it doesn't get better. I think it even gets worse, because now with the age, you're thinking you're not doing good work, by your best, because you feel like you're not a bit frail. It's understandable, and we're not judging anyone here, but we're trying to see how can we make this motherhood journey much easier, and of course take care of our little ones. So again, if you're new here, this is I'm Dr. Saru, and this is my channel, Dr. Saru Pendo TV. If you like the kind of content I do, I basically talk about motherhood, children care or newborn care. I'm very passionate about kids, and I'm doing my master's in pediatrics. Maybe this is the thing you'd like to see more often. Do be sure to subscribe and hit that comment button and comment down there. Tell us why you think you like this channel, and like this the video as well, and share it to your friends and family members. So let's get into this video for today. Your child has hit the floor. What to do, and what should you watch out for, and when should you go to the hospital? So now, the first thing you have to assess is, what was the distance between where the child has fallen to the ground. Of course, if it's just a sofa or maybe it's a bed, we're not expecting it to be that high. It's normally, how many centimeters is it? It's maybe less than 60 or maybe 90 centimeters. That shouldn't be much of a worry to you as a mom. Actually, it's less than 90 centimeters, so it shouldn't be much of a worry if especially they've hit and landed on something. For example, the floor is not wholly concrete, or perhaps it's not just tiled, it has a carpet. So that also is a determining factor if there's something cushioning the fall, even if it's a short distance, or there's nothing cushioning the floor. Another thing I should consider before getting really worried is the level of consciousness of the child. Has the child lost consciousness after the fall? Is the child crying, or is the child just startled and quiet? Okay, because all this will determine how you should react or how you should respond towards this accident that has just happened. So, for example, the child has lost consciousness. That is reason enough. One of the danger signs, you need to be taking the baby to the hospital with immediate effect. You don't need to be doing anything at that particular time. Just ensure if they've lost consciousness, but then you can feel that they have a pulse, please keep going to the hospital. Yeah. Another thing, if the baby is conscious and they are crying, pick the baby up gently and ensure that you are observing or checking, examining the area that you saw the baby hitting on the ground. So is there a cut, is there a bruise? If there's something that you can put a band-aid on, you can surely do that. If the cut is profusely bleeding, that's another reason for you to actually jump on and get to the hospital. Okay, so those are some of the things that you look at. However, in most cases, from even my own personal experience, nothing bad normally happens if they're just jumping off from the sofa to the ground, or even from the bed to the ground. However, these are some of the things that you should be aware of and keep them in mind. So if the baby starts vomiting even hours later after that fall, please take the baby to the hospital. That is a danger sign in terms of head injury, and this baby should be seen by the paediatrician ASAP. If the baby gets super irritable, even after calming them down, and maybe you have given them something for pain relief, and hours later, 3 hours later, 4 hours later, the baby is still fussy and irritable, that should also be another reason as to why you should be taking your baby back or to the hospital. Yeah. So now, I think I've gone through all the facts, all the things that should be alerted to you as danger signs. You see, for kids under the age of 9 months, 1 year, where they cannot really take any command and they don't understand, and they can also not communicate back with the parent, it is very hard for them to express pain. For example, like somebody is having a constant headache because of the fall. It is very hard for them to say that they're having a headache. So the irritability, that is what comes in. It could be because of pain, or could be something more worse that is happening, and it's good if they are assessed at the hospital. So yeah, I think we've talked about, but I'll just give a rundown. What are some of the danger signs that you should look out when your baby falls from the seat or from the bed and hits their head? Is there any change of behavior? 1. Number 2, is there excessive crying or irritability? Even after the fact, could be immediately after you've tried to soothe the baby, but the baby is still crying or still very irritable. That should be a danger sign and should be going to the hospital. However, the baby could be soothed, maybe even sleep, then wake up and start just screaming and being quite irritable. That is also a reason to take the baby to the hospital. Any vomiting, number 3. If there's loss of consciousness, number 4, which I think when I was explaining, I started with that first. If at any point the baby loses consciousness, then you should be able to take the baby to the hospital. In the first 24 hours, watch out for convulsions as well. If the baby starts to seize at any point within the first 24 hours after the fall, you should consider that the fall could possibly have been the cause to these new seizures that are developing. So you should again take the baby to the hospital for them to be properly assessed, so that you can be able to understand how bad was the fall really. But other than that, I really think when I was getting worried myself, I called my grandparents. They're very hands-on with this parenting. I think what I've enjoyed most about this time around parenting is I feel like I have accepted help, and it now feels like the actual African community raising a baby up. So I have a problem, I can just call my uncle, call my aunt, call my mom, call my grandparents, and I feel their support really immensely at this particular point in time. And yeah, I'm feeling the African vibe as well. So I called him to complain about this baby is getting super active. Even the other day, she just fell and bumped her head on the floor. My grandfather said, that's a good thing. Let the baby bump her head anywhere. These people are like plastic. They just contract and open up. And you realize their head is not actually binded together yet. It's not like firm. It has areas where you can sit going up and down. Those are still spaces that can be filled with the ball later. And I sat there thinking, I'm the pediatrician. And I found it was very funny. But again, I like the help. So I called my mom just to laugh about it. I'm like, oh, it's funny how the pediatrician is getting schooled about how bone elasticity for kids at particularly this age, and it's totally fine sometimes not to be worried. But then this is just to encourage all you moms who get worried by these tiny things. Sometimes it could be something really minor, but of course, like I told you, to watch out for the danger signs, because it could also be something major. Yeah. Until next time, if you have any questions, please be sure to drop them down. Love and love, Dr. Saro.